Publisher of Yankee T News, coming to you on this Monday, February 17th, the year of our Lord 2025, from the world famous Parkway Diner. Now, boy oh boy is there stuff. Boy oh boy. But first, contact our lovely governor in Colorado and remind him that he still has a prisoner who needs to be pardoned. Right here, Tina Peters, okay? Let him know, let him know. And we'll talk about, there's an update with her, we'll get into that later. Okay, the other quick hot item, I wanted to just do a quick plug for this book here, The Indoctrinated Brain. It came out about maybe 10 months ago. It's by a German author who I believe, yes, MD, PhD. The important argument here is that what was done during COVID has created enduring neural damage to what we'll call the COVID-19 generation. And it is questionable how well they'll be able to function in the future. So this is a difficult book to read. Take it slow, look things up, do your homework. The message is very important. And meantime, something I thought was interesting, I just wanted to share it with you. I had no idea, did you have an idea, that the vanquished president of the Confederacy actually wrote a history of the Confederacy? So here you go. So I had to put that up. It's a rather thick book. That's volume 1. And it's written in a style that, is certainly reminiscent of the 19th century, not written with the same kind of economy of thought that we would treasure in the modern day. But hey, this is an important historical document. All right, now, today's theme, ruling over the ashes. All right, now I mentioned last week, I said that the destruction is near, right? Well, I have something to add to that. The place I probably want to start is that researchers have noticed that a number of internet search terms have become very popular in the last couple of weeks. One is BleachBit, another is polygraph, another is change identity, another is witness protection, and there are others, believe me. You can add it all up and you can see that the people are clearly panicking, not to mention the 4,000 houses in the DC area that are now in the market for sale and for which the median value has plunged to $140,000. You can't sell 4,000 houses in an area like that quickly. So that is going to be a problem, guys. So these people, some of them, it is possible, given these kinds of search terms, are going to want to get out of the country. That's right, get out. Well, the getting is good. But witness protection I find to be an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen, because that would suggest that a number of these bureaucrats who are responsible for stealing your money, abusing their role, realize that the jig is up and they are going to be heading off to trial. Well, guess what? How about this? How about some of the evidence that they will use to turn state's evidence and get immunity will be so bad, so unbelievably bad, that they will need to change their identity and be part of a witness protection program. Well, guess what? You're looking at people who have violated federal law in so many different ways. When Pam Bondi gets warmed up, you can be sure that they are going to be in some deep trouble. So witness protection is looking pretty good for some people. And that is kind of surprising. But there's another argument that I want to make here. These people that are doing these things, they're doing the searches, they're trying to sell their houses, they're trying to get out of trouble before it's too late. In the investment world, when you have a stock and it's sold, right? The first people who give up the shares on bad news are an example of what are called weak hands. They sell the shares easily because they're too afraid and they don't have the guts to hold on to the stock. Okay, well these people, these bureaucrats are the ones you're seeing right now that are producing all this information. These are the weak hands among the guilty parties that make up this group, the deep state, all right? So in other words, you've got other members of the deep state, they're a little bit tougher. Remember that the deep state has a long record of killing people, intimidating people, and doing what is necessary to scare American citizens. These are nasty people, these are violent people who are angry at having been caught. They will fight, they want their revenge. So what are they going to do? Well, in my early thinking about the subject, I come up with two possibilities. All right, the first is that they will choose what we'll call physical damage. They can interfere with access to the information, they can alter data if not destroy it, and they can damage equipment as well. Okay, so that's kind of like the first layer of interfering with DOGE, and they would be willing to do it. Meantime, the rest of the deep state will be willing to consider option number two, and that is continue to spread the poison. So we're kind of seeing that with how the media is trying to defend the deep state right now, but the point has been made. You guys look ridiculous. You're defending fraud. You're defending cheating. You're defending people stealing money from their fellow Americans. Is that something for you to defend, seriously? But they'll keep finding excuses. I just want to add that one person made a very interesting point, perhaps a biased point, but a true point. Democrats are sophisticated liars. It's not that they lie, but they are shrewd and cunning in the way that they lie. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so will these people pull the switch, so to speak, in some fashion? I think that there will be a point. I'm going to go out on a limb. I've been known to do that before, but I'm going to say somewhere towards the end of April, I think there's some critical things will probably come to a head, and we may see things that we did not expect. Nope. All right. Meantime, Ukraine suddenly in limbo, and for a good reason. So anybody who's been following Ukraine knows that Zelensky's complaining because he has not been a part of the initial discussions for negotiations. So instead, I believe, as we speak, you have Trump and Putin in Saudi Arabia discussing a peace deal without Zelensky's input, or the EU for that matter, or NATO for that matter. Now, my first reaction is, well, that doesn't sound very good. If you really want a peace deal, all the parties have to be at the table. But then along comes an article from Armstrong Economics. And we have the link up. Let's see, where is it? Yes. So if you go to the links that we put up, you'll see, do the EU,
in the About section.
In the About section, do the EU and Ukraine really want war? Wow, that's a provocative statement. After all the losses they've suffered and all the problems that they've had, maybe for different reasons, but this provocative idea is not that crazy. I mean, so long as America is pumping support into Ukraine, they're willing to keep going. So long as the EU gets some help, they're okay with this. But when the load suddenly goes on their shoulders, maybe not so much. But yeah, all right, well then I'm going to just throw in my one piece here. There's still a distinct group of people who are concerned with foreign policy in Russia, who are convinced that Russia must be destroyed. Now, destroyed comes in two forms. You either reduce the country to nothing, or you bleed the country until it can't function. So by killing 1 million men, by causing others to leave the country, the future of Russia is not what you would call assured, all right? So they're perfectly happy to keep doing things like that if it can hurt Russia. So I just had to throw that out there. All right, meantime, the DOGE wars. The quick update, the one I want to throw in here, there's a Fox News piece here. Let's see here. Here, just quickly, I'll just grab a couple. So this is a list of some of the things. Some of you may have already seen these. Examples of wasted money: $486 million in the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, okay? In India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Liberia, Mali, South Africa, excuse me. How is this helping America? You guys are going to have to explain it, but no. So I'm looking for the lawsuit tracker here. Is this it? Yeah. So one correction is originally we had said that there were 57 lawsuits currently fighting Trump's executive orders. Well, we were wrong. It's 67. And you can be sure that it's growing even more. And I just want to grab one that is causing a little bit of a stir. So there's a special counsel. I don't know if I can find any of it. The name of the special counsel, he was fired, okay? Removed by executive order. But then you had a judge seeking to reinstate this gentleman in this job even though he had been fired. It is claimed, I don't know if this is true, that this is the first time in American history where a federal judge has reinstated somebody into a job. All right, so anyway, you've got other cases like that that are just off the reservation, okay? And yes, you know, I was hoping by now that KASH PATEL would be confirmed, but no, they're still playing games. So we're still waiting for KASH PATEL. But the article I found, I think is very interesting because, as it says...
Well, could you explain to the audience
yes,
how long a potential nominee could be delayed?
Oh, in past administrations, you know, we're talking months. That's happened, okay? So if they really wanted to drag it out, but the argument is they're running out of options, okay? And it's up to the Republicans to really put the hammer down and say, that's it, we're taking this to the floor for nomination. But they haven't done it yet. So maybe soon, maybe soon. Okay, in the meantime, birthright citizenship. Now this is another issue that it's kind of simmering on the back burner, but you know what? It can move to the front real quick. So we have a link up for an opinion piece from the New York Times titled, "Trump Might Have a Case on Birthright Citizenship." It's written by Doug Mills of the New York, Randy Barnett and Ilan Werman. These are two law professors, one at Georgetown, the other University of Minnesota. When you look at how other countries handle this issue of foreign birth in their own country, you find that America pretty much stands alone in this regard. For example, if you're a Russian and you come to America and your wife is pregnant and has a baby in America, that is not an American baby. Sorry, that is a Russian baby. Russia is going to assert its jurisdiction over the citizenship of that child, just so you know. And it's true for others as well. All right, next, after birthright, what happens next? So we got KASH, DOGE. Where did I put this thing? Okay, come on. The UNIPARTY on trial. Yeah. Okay, so this is a reference to this article. What did I do with it? Anyway, it's, you know, there is this theme here. We're seeing it getting worse and worse. I mean, every time we see something that gets us upset, we are reminded, you ain't seen nothing yet. Who knew? Would you have ever anticipated that there'd be $20 billion buried and forgotten somewhere in the EPA? Well, I never would have guessed it, but thanks to Lee Zeldin, we found it. Good job. What other money is out there that we don't know about? Expect more surprises. So that's all I'm saying. Now, there's this one story that should give one pause. You may remember that there was a presidential election in Romania, and the gentleman who won the election was told to take a hike by the judge. The judge annulled the election. Oh my goodness, how could that have happened? All right, so now we got this other person now who is the Romanian president, and there's just one problem. USAID money has dried up in Romania, and he resigned. What do you think? Might there be a connection? We'll be following that story, and we'll let you know, you lucky people. Meantime, I want to remind you.
That if
What?
USA aid money has been going to subsidize all of these countries and their political aspirations, that could mean that they're more malleable in terms of dictating foreign policy.
I think what's going to happen, well, it's not clear. First of all, you have to remember, dare I utter the name George Soros, okay? He still has a lot of money. And one of the things we're going to learn is the Tides Foundation, we're thinking that it was, oh, gee, George Soros funding the Tides Foundation, all the other NGOs.
Not so fast.
Yes.
You know where George Soros has been getting a lot of his money, don't you?
I was about to make that point, from USAID.
There you go.
Right. So it wasn't George Soros's money.
There you go.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. However, Georgie Boy still has a lot of money. So he may decide to keep using that money regardless of the loss of funding from USAID. Just saying. Just saying.
Somebody would like to see Donald Trump make January 6th a national holiday.
Interesting. Well, you know, nothing much has been said about January 6th lately, but it's going to come up. And nothing much has been said about the fraud that was 2020 and 22 elections, and 2024 for that matter. But those will come up in due time as well. All right, so, and I just mentioned also that even as you have the members of the federal government putting up these lawsuits to resist, at the same time, the same thing's happening in California. So, boy, oh boy. All right, so let me just find, all right, I want to finish, all right, I got to finish up with Tina. Tina Peters, okay, has put out a very short video asking for a pardon, not a pardon, to ask for release pending a hearing concerning her case. And she's been complaining about health problems that she's had in the jail. And we'll see, but I just want to remind you, where did I put it? Where did I put it? I want you people to contact Governor Polis. No, hold on. I'm going to find that piece of paper if it kills me. The point is to remind him to let her go. Okay? All right, well, I'm going to let it go. Put it up later. So the other two quick things, and then I'm done. So stay with me. Quick thing number one, Eric and I have been having a debate about this one. There was this video put out by some group called choiceclips.com claiming that, well, basically they're saying that there is no patriotic spirit in Canada. They don't really care that much about themselves. Trudeau has spent many years gutting the patriotic spirit in Canada. So the notion that they're going to resist annexation is ridiculous. Okay, well, that's what they say. Well, I disagree. I think that the Canadian spirit is strong. I think they have an identity. They're aware of it, and it may not be like the American identity in the way that we think about it, but it's what happens is we start to push pressure on them, all of a sudden they discover they're inner Canadian. So I'm a little shocked at this. I mean, this is basically propaganda. And so I guess it's an alert to you, the audience, that there'll be more propaganda like this concerning Canada. So if we're going to do this, it's going to be done honestly. That's all I'm going to say. The last thing I want to mention, and again, we're going to have that debate. Microsoft research suggests AI usage is making us feel dumber. The basic argument, and I have a counterexample for this, is that by in effect, by asking ChatGPT and these other large language models to provide answers to things, we are passing off the challenge to think through questions and such to the machine, and that will in turn make us, quote, dumber. Well, I beg to differ. I'm a firm believer in critical thinking, and as Eric has well demonstrated, you can play these critical thinking games with ChatGPT and learn quite a bit about the limitations. And some people have done those things. So I'm not so sure that this is true, but it's being brought up. There was a study, Carnegie Mellon University. The link is in the article, so go check it out. And on that happy note, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.
Subscribe, tell
All
your
right,
family,
all right.
tell your friends.
Right, the
Hit that
subscribe part.
button, hit the link button, hit the bell, the bell, the bell, the bell, the bell.
The bells for notification, okay. So speaking of which, or I'll wait.